called Observationes Clinicae, what a physician in the early 18th century protocol wrote down about what women complained to him, how they felt. And these were the sources that I, for the first time, realized that the physics, the body, the flesh, really needs deep, very deep sense, and not just cognitively has a history. Because when these ladies reported to their physician about how they felt themselves, what were the blood stagnations, their interior perception that they talked about, was very clear that I read, and I can later present you this one if you want that, but then I read these sources, these reports. You could say the biology in the traditional sense, bios loci, to tell your life story, because it was all story, it was all narration, what happened, and the man had hit them, and what then, and then they got stuck, and then they have to take, they want to get something to loosen up their anger and so on, so there is no separation between body and physics, there is no separation between psyche, and it's all together. And reading these sources, I think that for my life was an experience of something that I had to face, ask myself, what is the physical, how do I experience the medical body that someone in my age and in the 1915 growing up was given, that was given, so that medical body as a natural body, I had to distance myself from that by trying seriously to listen to and to understand what these ladies said. Okay, so I studied somatic self-perception in the 18th century, in the past, Middle European, and that meant the sense of a woman's flesh and blood. That is really the sense. Very much interested in history of the senses, the sense, and that's synesthesis, that is the coming together of the different senses. Yes, and then the genesis, the social genesis, we could say, how can come into being a natural object, the medical body in the 19th century, that came in the 19th century, and then the recent transformation of the female, and especially I think it's the women's bodies who was the emblem for this as a frontier of a new type of biological management and of a new organization of the functions of the body, and this has to do with risk management, decision making, the informed client, and so on. And within this historical frame, I have been in Germany and also elsewhere. I have done a lot of public interventions. I have been as an intellectual. I have been politically active against against, for instance, against the cancerization of the women's minds through the propaganda of cancer prevention, which maybe for you seems absolutely absurd, but I will explain this. On the whole ritual of prenatal diagnosis that came into being in Germany since the 1970s. On the transformation of giving birth, that's 100% high tech, almost 99% high tech in Germany, and then the coming into being of genetic counseling that we have now. So since the last 30 years, the rapid transformations of women's how they perceive themselves, how they perceive future, what they think. So you could say the professional intrusion into personal and intimate considerations. That is the issue that I'm very interested And because in my public interventions, I have been motivated by a particular paradox, we could say. In the 1970s and 80s, in the women's movement, where I was active as a journalist, a young journalist then, and I belonged to one of these groups fighting for decriminalization of abortion and organizing shelter for women being raped and so on. In the 1970s, women, or feminists, or woke, politically engaging women were fighting medicine. The medicine appeared as the patriarchal authority that was being protested against in the United States and also in Germany. And because women in the industrial societies have been the target of medicalization in the after-war period. The women medicalization, this transformation or modernization, was that women were the target, I think, of medicalization in the after-war period. And now, in this transformation into, say, neoliberal, or this new situation in which we have been moving in, I ask myself if they are becoming the central victims of the commodification of choice. That women are becoming the central victims for the commodification of choice. That is the choice we have been fighting for, reproductive choice. Now the commodification of choice is that is being foisted on women. The popularization of risk management and the need for taught self-determination. That self-determination today is something that you are being introduced in, and that's being something that you are taught and taught into. That is women's former claims for reproductive rights and reproductive self-determination. Then, in the wake of reproductive technology, now in the wake of women's former claims, reproductive rights, reproductive self-determination, in the wake of the marketing of reproductive technologies, are being turned into a new kind of compulsory choice in an open market. And a choice, what means a choice today? The choice is between options that are being desired or wanted by the bureaucracy or by the system. Yeah. So that is what I thought we would try to analyze. This paradox, political paradox, personal paradox, in the transformation, in what were the key terms in which we were fighting, say, patriarchal oppression.